So today I wanted to talk about the steps you can take to heal your diabetes if you have it. But these steps also work to help prevent type 2 diabetes as well, so you can avoid getting it. It really works for both. So if you are a diabetic already, this is really going to help you um, start reversing your diabetes. And then if you are worried about getting it and you want to prevent it, then this is going to help you as well. So I first want to explain like what your goal needs to be, if you're wanting to reverse or prevent it. And I'll also, you can talk to your doctor. I would recommend that. Talk to your doctor to let them know that, hey, this is your goal. This is what I'm wanting to do. I don't want to just be on medication forever. I want to try to get my blood sugar lower, just so they're on board with it, just so they are aware and they know. Because if you are on medication and you're starting to lower your blood sugar, then they may have to check you more often to make sure that your medication amount is right for you. They may have to lower it a few times and then eventually take you off of it, which is what we want, right? That's the goal. But they just need to be made aware of it so they know what you're working on. Um, so talk to your doctor about, you can let them know that you watch this live. You can take notes and let them know, okay, this is what I'm working on. And just so they're aware and so they know what to test and to really pay attention to your blood sugar and your medication and all that. All right. So, um, so a normal A1C is less than 5.7 here in America. So if you're in Europe or somewhere, I think they have a little bit different way that they measure things. So I'm, using American percentages and our measurements, right? So a normal A1C is less than 5.7, right? A hemoglobin A1C when you go to the doctor. Um, and that is your goal, to get your A1C under 5.7 when you go get it tested at your doctor. And your doctor usually wants to check it every 3 to 6 months, just depending on how they do things. And so if you can get your A1C below 5.7 three consecutive times, like 3 times each time you go, if it's below 5.7 without medication, then you will have healed your diabetes. So now I'm going to give you the steps. These steps are going to get your A1C back to normal. This is how we're going to do it, right? So that is your goal, to get your A1C to less than 5.7, and these are the steps that are going to get you there. So the first step that you want to start doing, if you're not already, is testing your blood sugar daily. And I don't mean that you have to do this forever, but while you're trying to heal your diabetes, you pretty much have to do this, because this is the way you're going to heal it, is by knowing your blood sugar and by getting it down. And um, you know, if you're not testing it after meals and while you're fasting and all that, then you're not going to know whether you're healing it or not, right? You're not going to know whether you're going in the right direction. Does that make sense, you guys? Let me know. Um, okay, so you want to test it in the morning before you eat, like while you're fasting, before you've had coffee or food or anything. You want to test your blood sugar in the morning, while you're still fasting. You also want to test it before and after your meals. So even if you like eat snacks and things, I would even test it then. So then you kind of know how you react to the snacks that you're eating. And I know that sounds like a lot. So I know when I was diabetic and I was having to test my blood sugar a lot, I got myself down to 3 meals because I would eat more at my meals and then I wouldn't have to test my blood sugar so much. Especially, when you're working and stuff, it's hard to test it all the time. So, plus I didn't want all those blood sugar spikes. I didn't want so many. So, if I could get it down to 3 a day, that also helps your A1C. Um, anyway, so you want to test it in the morning before you eat or drink anything while you're still fasted and before and after meals. And your goal is to get your fasting blood sugar to under 100 milligrams per deciliter. So in the morning when you wake up, your goal for fasting blood sugar is going to be under 100, right? That's what number you want to see. And then an hour after eating, you want your blood sugar to go no higher than 30 points. So, no higher than 30 points of what it was before you started eating, right? So, I'm going to explain this. Um, so, say your blood sugar was 90 milligrams per deciliter before you ate your meal, right? Um, You don't want it to spike higher than 120 milligrams per deciliter an hour after eating. So you don't want more than a 30 point gap. You don't want it to go higher than 30 points, 30 milligrams per deciliter um, after eating your meal. Uh, so if there's more than a 30 point difference, like too often, and I'm not saying you can never have more than, I do that on the weekends, mine probably goes higher than that for a couple meals. But if your blood sugar is spiking higher than a 30 point, um, a 30 point minimum, then all the time, like daily, then this means you're eating too many carbs at your meals. Uh, you're eating too many carbs at one time, or you may have an allergy to a food that you've been eating. So it could be either one of those. And, obviously, if it's an allergy to a food, you don't want to keep eating it. Um, but if you discover, okay, well, I've been eating 50 carbs a meal and it's spiking my blood sugar, let's take it down to 40 carbs a meal or 30 carbs a meal, just a little bit less, and see what that does. And then, say that helps your blood sugar stay more stable. When you test it, then there you go. You know how many carbs to eat per meal, right? So this is what you do. So in order to get your blood sugar to stay at a healthy level when eating, you want to gradually lower your carbs until it starts consistently staying in a normal range, right? So if your blood sugar starts out at 100 before your meal, you don't want it to go past 130, 130. If it does, you need to lower your carbs or stop eating a food that you may be allergic to. Let me get a sip of water. All right. So, um, yeah, so you want to just keep gradually lowering your carbs until you get that normal blood sugar range consistently. So let me know if that makes sense to you guys, because I can explain it again um, if you're not really understanding what I'm talking about. So once you get your blood sugar to these ranges, then you know how many carbs your body needs, right? You know how many carbs your body can handle at each meal. So that's what you're trying to figure out. How many carbs can you handle at each meal? Is it 50? Is it 40? Is it 30? Is it 60? What can your body handle at each meal? Because that's how you're going to lower your blood sugar, and that's how you're going to heal your diabetes. Um, Once you know that, then you know what to not go over, and you can stay at that range until your blood sugar starts. If it starts creeping up again, it's like, okay, let me see what have my carb needs changed. Am I not burning as many carbs? Am I not needing as many carbs? Am I allergic to a food I've started eating? You've got to play like kind of investigator with your health and with your blood sugar. Um, and that's why it's important to test your blood sugar, especially when you're diabetic. So that's the first thing. That's the first step you need to start doing to start reversing your diabetes. Test your blood sugar. Test it when you're fasting, test it before and after meals, and you are really going to get to know what foods you do great with, what foods you don't do great with, and you're really going to get to know what causes blood sugar spikes, what doesn't, what you do really well with, and all those kind of things. And you need to know this. If you want to heal your diabetes, you need to know these things. Okay, so the next step is going to tie in well with the first step, which is what you eat, right? I'm always asked, what do I eat? I'm diabetic. What do I need to be eating? And I know you guys know that whole foods are the way to go, right? I mean, I think I've talked about that enough. I'm sure that you hear it from your doctor and, from all that you read about type 2 diabetes. Everyone knows that the whole foods, whole unprocessed foods are the way to go. But sometimes we also need to be reminded uh, of the foods to limit so that we can heal diabetes, because anything that's basically anything that is processed and that has ingredient lists that aren't whole foods is what you want to limit when you're diabetic. Hey Tanya, thanks for joining. Um, So those are the foods you really want to limit. And I'm not saying eliminate. I'm not saying you can never have them. I'm saying limit them to, you know, a couple times a week. And I can't stress this enough, because I am an example of someone who loved to eat all the healthy foods, right? But I still ate processed foods, right? I still ate them practically every day. And I would think, oh, well, this says it's healthy, it's low carb, it's low fat, it's high protein, so it's healthy, but it was still a processed food, right? It still had an ingredient list. It still had things in it uh, that I didn't know what they were. Um, so even though I was eating a lot of healthy, whole, unprocessed foods, I was still eating processed foods, and that was really, making my blood sugar high, and I didn't know it. Um, so I'm an example of someone that, I ate all the healthy foods, but I also ate processed foods. And I got diabetes, right? I got diabetes. So my point is, make sure most of your meals are whole, unprocessed foods and not a bunch of processed packaged foods. You want fresh, whole, unprocessed foods the majority of your diet, right? So choose foods like beef, poultry, eggs, seafood, fruits, vegetables, dairy, nuts, olive oil, avocado oil is good, coconut oil is good. These things are whole foods. These things are unprocessed. Um, And your body recognizes them, and it knows what to do with them. It knows how to use them. Your body doesn't know how to use these packaged, boxed, processed foods. It doesn't recognize that stuff. So make most of your meals whole foods. And then the third step that you want to incorporate is getting some movement every day. And I know you've heard this. I know, you're probably sick of hearing it, but I'm going to explain why movement is so important for type 2 diabetes. So, getting some kind of activity every day is going to help you become more insulin sensitive. And that is what you want. You want to be more insulin sensitive. Um, so if you have diabetes or prediabetes, you are not insulin sensitive. If you have high blood sugar, if you have insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, any of that stuff, that means your insulin is not sensitive. You do not have a sensitivity to insulin. Um, but the good news is this can be reversed, right? This can be reversed with lifestyle habits like exercise. So, um, now you don't have to go join a gym or buy a bunch of fancy equipment or anything like that. You don't have to do that. You can do something as simple as walking, getting your steps in every day, going outside, going for a walk. Um, that is one of the best things to bring blood sugar down, and balance your blood sugar, get you more insulin sensitive, all of these things. And resistance training is another form of movement, that will lower your blood sugar and help you become more insulin sensitive. And once, so, resistance training is like if you can use weights, like if you have a pair of dumbbells at home, or you can do things. If you don't have dumbbells, you can do things like squats, lunges, push-ups, anything that's like resistance training, right? Bands are great. Like if you have some of those stretchy bands, those exercise bands, you can use those. That is awesome for resistance training. Also, Pilates. Go on YouTube, look up Pilates um, exercises, and that will be great for your muscles. It will be great resistance training. Um, so these are all great ways to get some movement every day. But if you have something else you like to do, do that. I know a lot of people who like to join like a sports team or something. They have like adult basketball and softball and all these different sports. Swimming, things like that. Any form of movement is going to be great for helping lower your blood sugar and getting you more insulin sensitive. So anything that you enjoy doing. Um, so not only will resistance training help with blood sugar and insulin, but it will help keep your muscle and help build your muscle. And this is great for your metabolism, and this is why I promote it so much. Any kind of resistance training, if you don't want to lift weights, that's fine. Do Pilates, do resistance training, like like I said, like squats, lunges, push-ups, resistance bands, anything like that. This is going to be great for your metabolism. It's going to be great for burning fat, for losing weight, for balancing blood sugar and getting you more insulin sensitive. So, this is why movement is important every day. So these are my 3 tips, you guys. I want you to use these, and I want you to, if you are interested in healing your diabetes and not just managing it with medication and having to do that for the rest of your life. If you're really wanting to get off of your medication and start healing your diabetes and improving your blood sugar, these 3 tips are the way to go. These 3 steps. So I'll go over them one more time. The first one was testing your blood sugar daily. Okay, test it. Test your fasting blood sugar. Test it before and after you eat, and focus on getting that number under 100 milligrams per deciliter. That is a normal blood sugar. That's where you want it, and that's going to improve your A1C when you go to the doctor. And then, you want to focus on getting whole foods. Most of your meals need to be whole foods, not packaged foods, not fast food, not restaurant food. It needs to be whole foods. Um, and then the third way is to get some kind of movement every day. Get some movement, and that'll improve your blood sugar, your insulin, and your metabolism. All right, so these are the lifestyle habits to get your blood sugar and your A1C back to normal, if that is your goal. And once you do that consistently, once you do these 3 steps consistently, you will have healed your diabetes. Your A1C, when you go to the doctor, you it will go down if you follow these 3 steps. Your doctor will be so happy. They will be so surprised. They'll ask you how you did it, because they're not used to diabetics doing this. So, if you want to surprise your doctor, do this. Um, so, I want you to start practicing these habits, if you're not already, and you can start with one at a time. Start with one at a time so you don't get overwhelmed. Start with just checking your blood sugar every day. Get used to that. Get in the habit of it. Whatever it is, that's okay. Just get in the habit of doing that. Then add in, you know, your healthy foods. Start limiting the processed foods. Do that. Get consistent with that. And then start adding in some movement. And if you do this one at a time, I promise you, eventually your blood sugar is going to normalize, your A1C is going to be normal, and you're no longer going to be diabetic. And it's going to take some time. Don't rush it. You know, it takes time, and that's okay. So try these, and if you've tried this and you just can't seem to stay consistent with these habits, or you can't stay consistent with eating healthy or staying away from processed food every day, I'd love to talk to you. I would love to figure out what some other ideas that I can give you to help you to maybe get you going in the right direction, to get you more consistent with doing these things. So, if you are interested in talking to me about that, we can message, we can set up a phone conversation. If you want to know some more like personalized ways to really help you lower your blood sugar and help you get consistent with these habits, um, just you can put help in the comments if you want to do that, if you're interested in having a conversation with me, and then I'll reach out to you, and we can chat further about what else you may be missing, or what else may be helpful to you. All right, so that is all I have for today. I hope these tips really help you guys, and thank you for joining me, and I will see you next Tuesday with a new live video. All right, bye guys.